over the hump or nothing. Unless something happened to Joe today. Anything happened to Joe today?
Offense, control the line of scrimmage. Be dominant. Communicate up front. Dominate with our size and athleticism. Ain't no time now to worry about what the outcome is. Don't look at the scoreboard. One play at a time. From the first play to the last play. Represent your shit.
Need a horn and a drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Season's over. A different time. I told you they remember November. But December's our time. December's we do what we do. That's Florida State time. We're back where we belong.
Let's get it on. Need a horn to break it down.
I never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sit on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Just change.
I'm going to either win 388 games or I'm going to win 389. Neither one of them throw me over the hump or nothing. Unless something happened to Joe today. Anything happened to Joe today?
Offense, control the line of scrimmage. Be dominant. Communicate up front. Dominate with our size and athleticism. Ain't no time now to worry about what the outcome is. Don't look at the scoreboard. One play at a time. From the first play to the last play.
Need a horn and drum roll.
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Season's over. A different time. I told you they remember November. But December's our time. December's we do what we do. That's Florida State time. We're back where we belong.
Let's get it on. Need a horn. Break it down.
I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Just change.
It's Friday. I ain't got no job. And I ain't got nothing to do. So I said, why not do a midday lunchtime show? I ain't do nothing this weekend. I figured there was enough voices in the peanut gallery this week. Plus, I was kind of busy that I didn't want to rush or throw something out there. But it's Friday, y'all. We don't have a game this weekend. And like I said, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm off today. So here I am. What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? It is your boy, POLK, a.k.a. A-Low, the goddamn truth. You already know. And here we are. First bye week of the season. There is some interesting stuff that happened this week on the recruiting trail. Good, and I won't necessarily say bad, but something to keep an eye on, something to watch that development there. You guys probably already know what I'm talking about. Got some big news today, which I am excited to finally see. And as we know, the All Whites will be making their debut against the Louisville Cardinals. Now, I always knew that was going to be an away uniform, but it is my dream that one day we see an all white whiteout in Doak Campbell. So I do hope we see that, and I don't see a reason why we shouldn't. But today, I mean, it's not really a informational stream today. It's more just talking to the people, like I always do, and seeing what's up with y'all, and just hitting them hot topics, I guess. Like I said, again, I ain't got nothing to do, so here I am. And before we get started, as always, it's roll call time. 33 in here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. But first and foremost, hit my like button. Ring my doorbell. Y'all know the rules. That's how we get down over here on 863 to Seminole TV. Stroking the Flame is in the building. Loading. Peter Shields, member of the 863 Tribe. Priscilla Chestnut. Tyler Hedden, member of the 863 Tribe. South Florida 850. R. Davius Hall. VJ, member of the 863 Tribe. Timmy. Hypnotic. Nicholas. Pat. Todd, Pope, Tara, member of 863 Tribe, The Land, Jamal, Myron, BB, and Marcus Lewis, member of the 863 Tribe. Yes, if you don't know, Jordan Trappist does have a new t-shirt out. Calls himself the Tiger King. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That'll probably be one of the giveaways here going forward. Just like I did with the 4th and 14 shirt. So it is NFL weekend too. There was an NFL game on last night. Oh my God, did Jalen Ramsey look like he was not involved in the game at all? And I got to think that that's post Super Bowl Jalen Ramsey. I'm not sure how hard. I don't know how hard he worked this offseason, but woo, buddy. Jalen was terrible last night. No way around that. Jalen Ramsey. I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back. The Rams as a whole did not look well, so you don't just want to single out Jalen, but I mean, for a guy that's called the best corner in the game, who I believe is the best corner in the game, who has been the best corner game for what? Jalen's been the best corner in the game for what? 5-6 years? Something like that. Yeah. Rams were hung over. I agree with that, man. Rams was hung over. Diggs definitely worked them. From what I saw, then Cam only got like Cam had like a carry or two. That was ridiculous. But again, the Rams as a whole looked terrible last night. For those who care about the NFL, I watch it, but I'm not invested in the NFL like obviously I am in college ball. So, little NFL talk right there. Hold on now. But where was I gonna go? I was gonna go with this. Oh yes, might as well get this out the way. So Florida State has a little bit of good news. Well, I say they have some pretty decent news on the recruiting trail, but they got something to maybe be a little worried about. And it goes with one of our top players in the class as of right now. Matter of fact, the number 3 player in the class right now. and that's Roderick Kearney. Now, he is being projected by some to flip to the Gators. He's also removed, well, at the time of this story broke, he had just visited Florida for the Utah game, and after that game, he had removed Florida State stuff from his profile. And of course, those that watch, I do not, but I had a bunch of people telling me about it. But those who watch these kids in social media sites, they were up in arms. And then I say a couple days over, I would say Saturday it happened. I'd probably say that Monday or Tuesday. All the people that were speculating things kind of got it confirmed that it looks like he's flipping. People started talking about flipping them, and we'll see what happens there. Now, he did put Florida State stuff back onto his still to Florida State. Hold on, guys. My connection looked like it just did something funky on me. Am I still good? I think I'm good. Like my bars just dropped drastically for a second, but looks like I'm still good. He is supposed to be at this Kentucky game as well, that's 2 big games back to back for Florida. So yeah, I'm not surprised there. And we'll see what happens. Again, he did reconfirm the his commitment, but he also tweeted, he's not doing any interviews and let him enjoy his process. I'll put it to you like this. Whether he decommits or not, I don't want to make it seem like he's not a good player, because he's absolutely a good player. The thing is, at this point in time, I cannot stress about an offensive line recruit. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we keep him in the fold. We'll see if Atkins can keep him locked up. But if there's, and I can't believe we're saying this, but it's about time we've been able to say this. But if there's a position group on the field that I'm not worried about when it comes to recruiting, it's that one. Because just as that news comes out, it also came out that DJ Chester, if you don't know who that is, that's only one of the other offensive linemen that I've been talking about this entire off season leading into the season, has scheduled 2 visits to Florida State. He was once considered an LSU lean. After you beat LSU, he schedules 2 visits with Florida State. So as far as I'm concerned, no love lost with Rod. You choose to go where you choose to go. It's kind of funny that you trash the staff and you trash that university, and then you go and decide to decommit and, flip to him. That's your choice. You're entitled to handle your recruitment however you want. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Atkins, he's always got a plan A, B, C, and D. And if Chester's the plan B, well, that's a hell of a plan B, because Chester himself is a damn good prospect. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not too worried. Shout out to Michelle. I got to get that hat sent to you. I did get your message with your mailing address, so I'm gonna get that to you. But he shoots the $11 donation, says love the icy white unis, absolutely, and I love the donation and I appreciate you, man.
Clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my piggy bank.
So 51 people in here, man. Like I said, hit the like button. Hakeem and Blake Nicholson. Blake Nicholson has finally announced the commitment date, and I think it's within 3 days. I don't know. I think Hakeem's supposed to commit on the 23rd, and Nicholson's supposed to commit on the 20th of September. You can get 2 back-to-back big-time recruits right there. Hakeem's still a mystery to me. That's one of those where, like, I'll believe it when I see it. I think we've done all we could do. We beat LSU, right? I know that's something that he was there in New Orleans from everything he said and I've heard. FSU fans showed out in New Orleans, not only at the game, but he said, he was walking around New Orleans and people were taking pictures with him. Florida State fans were showing a bunch of love. So that's awesome to hear. I think at this point, you've done everything you can do. I think you've done everything you can do for Hakeem. It's just, I don't want to say I'm a pessimist because I don't feel like I am, but it's just, when's the last time you had a receiver like that? When's the last time Dugan's got a receiver like that? I'll believe Hakeem when I see him. I think you've done everything you can do, but I'll believe it when I see it. You still got to go out there and handle business against Louisville, a Louisville team that got demolished by Syracuse. So go out there, man, and handle business. I think it was the Tuesday practice. Mike Norvell was not happy with Tuesday practice, which I was glad to hear that, believe it or not. Because sometimes you listen to these interviews and the coach is always happy. Oh, I think we practiced fine today. This is one, and it gets just repetitive and it becomes like a mute point. Oh, we had another great practice. It was good, in my opinion, to hear that not only did they not have a good practice, I know it's kind of like, well, it's good we didn't have a good practice, but hear me out. It was good to hear that not only did we not have a good practice, but Mike Norvell wasn't scared to put it out there. Mike Norvell wasn't scared to call the team out. Jimbo used to do this a lot. Jimbo would have no issue coming to the media and be like, yeah, we sucked today in practice. And would even call players out. And I think LSU gives Mike Norvell that, for lack of a better term, chance to let his nuts hang. I think that LSU win. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he decided to call out the team after that win, because when you win that type of game and that type of atmosphere, you now have a little bit more credibility to your name. And I think that it gives him a chance to kind of poke his chest out a little bit and say, yo, this is not acceptable. And plus, sometimes you need that. So I'm all for it. I have no issues with it. I'm glad he called him out, and I think we'll be ready to go. Some people are saying they're scared of Louisville. I'm not scared of them, but I don't think it's this cakewalk that we are believing it to be. I don't know how good Syracuse is. Who does Syracuse play this week? Somebody tell me who Syracuse play this week. I would be interested to watch them and see how they play. Louisville plays UCF tonight, and I think if you watch tonight's game, UCF's a good team, probably better than Syracuse. We'll see. We'll see how Louisville responds tonight, because if they get dog walked again tonight, again, I'll feel 10 times better about the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to go in. You still got to handle your business. But you're going to see Louisville has to kind of respond tonight, because if they don't respond in this game tonight, they might start their season 0-3 legitimately. Cuse plays UConn, so they should probably destroy UConn as well. So it'd be interesting to see how Syracuse plays against a team that they are expected to win, because they were not expected to win last week's game, and they dominated it. I'll be interested to see how they play this week's game, being a favorite. Louisville's not a favorite tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see what Louisville does in that. So I'll definitely be paying attention to Louisville and UCF for sure. Definitely paying attention to that game. Let's get to some questions. Say Norvell's going to Hakeem's game tonight. Okay, that's what's up. Again, I think you've done everything you can, man, to get that. I just want us to close in on it. Again, it's not trying to be pessimistic. When's the last time we had a big time wide receiver recruit? The big one we had never showed up. So sorry if I'm a little bit not there quite yet with the that looks better. Not there quite yet with the wide receiver recruit. The last time we had a big one, the man still ain't showed up. And is never going to. So there's that. Louisville scares you. Shouldn't scare you, but I would tell you to watch the game tonight and see if Louisville scares you or not. And then Blake Nicholson. Yeah, I think I feel very confident about that one. Just for the fact of who you're going up against. Oregon just got embarrassed on national TV this on the first college football Saturday. Like Oregon just got violated. Absolutely violated on national TV to the point where, I mean, I know Dan Lanning can recruit, but how much of that was Kirby Smart in Georgia helping him out down there? I understand he recruited a lot of those guys, but I said when Oregon hired Lanning, I would have liked to see Lanning get another defensive coordinator job from under Kirby Smart before someone hiring him as a head coach. Because I don't believe he, man, I know Kirby Smart is the brainchild of that defense, so I'm not too surprised about Oregon in that situation there. And then UCLA's the other team, and I don't know who UCLA played week 1, and I don't really care. Maybe they're a dark horse. I don't know. I feel very good about where Florida State stands as far as Blake Nicholson goes. I mean, you showed that you could go into a hostile environment, which really wasn't that hostile. It was like 50-50 from what I hear, but still, you show that you can go into New Orleans, beat an LSU team, and the linebackers not only, you didn't only beat them, but go watch the linebacker play. Linebacker play was very well. So, I feel good about the other guy committing this month. Any word on Fabian? I think Mike said Fabian's good, but there's something they're going to monitor. Mike's really not too transparent with the injuries. I think Fabian's fine. Bless Harris is out for the season, though, if we didn't know that already. Which the depth on this O-line may start getting tested. I mean, you've already lost your center, though Maurice played admirably against LSU. Shout out to Maurice. You've now lost your right tackle, though I think in the 2 games played now, Bless didn't play in game 2. But I think if you watch Turrentine compared to Bless, now you want Bless there for the depth, but I actually think Turrentine has outplayed Bless Harris in these first 2 games. And again, we didn't get to see Bless against LSU, but if you go watch Bless against Duquesne and watch Turrentine against Duquesne, I would say Turrentine had the better game there. But now depth could be becoming, Darius Washington now probably swings into that tackle rotation. Does Julian swing into that tackle rotation now? What about a Lloyd? Like, how far do you go? It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Am I shocked the team is 2-0? No. I predicted a 9-3 season, so I can't be shocked at 2-0. I am not shocked at 2-0. Am not. This year's Mike Revenge Tour, I hope so. I absolutely hope so. Is Akeem a return specialist? I don't know. Can somebody answer that? Most of the things I've seen from Akeem has been him catching the ball, not in return game. So not too sure there. I hear you, Polk, nervous about closing Hakeem too, especially since it's A&M. Again, though, A&M and Georgia, I think, are the 2 big ones. When it comes to A&M, again, man, if it's me, my recruiting pitch, and I know people talk about negative recruiting, but I hate the fact that teams have blatantly negatively recruited Florida State, and we just supposed to be, take the higher road and turn the other cheek. No, the hell with that. If I'm Mike Norvell and company, my negative recruiting pitch against A&M is show me a Jimbo Fisher wide receiver that's in the league. Show me a Jimbo Fisher wide receiver in the last 10 years. Because you can only name one. And he ate his way out of the NFL. Even if we get Hakeem commitment, it's going. I do agree with that. I think even if he does commit this week, the 23rd, right? 23rd. I think even if he does commit this month, is what I meant to say. That recruitment's not. You still have to do what you're supposed to do, right? And that recruitment's not going to be done. that recruitment's not going to be done, even if he commits. Pretty sure Nicholas was at the Oregon. That's even better for us. If he was at that Oregon game, I know that sideline. That's even better for us. What's going on, T? I don't even think Mortimer's playing, bro. For last I checked, he was still facing legal issues. I don't even think Devontae Mortimer is like. I think he's still on the team, but I don't know if he's eligible to play. I don't know for sure. But last I checked, he was still facing legal issues. I don't think it's coincidence that Oregon got worked. We best in the SEC team, and Nicholson said his commitment. I agree. No, I agree. And like I said, I feel very good about him. Hakeem, I'm still like, I hope we get him, but I feel pretty good about the linebacker. How can we improve on defense? Well, here's the thing. I think you just got to give it more time. I know people are critical of the secondary, but Hakeem Dent played a hell of a game. Omarion Cooper played his first game of the season against an LSU team. He didn't get that warm-up game against Duquesne like other people got. And I think people are being a little bit too critical on him. He played terrible technique on that last touchdown that we gave up to LSU. He allowed the inside release. I would have jammed him and forced him to the outside, and they would have had to throw a fade over me, but he didn't jam him. He allowed a clean release to the inside. Yeah, bad play on his part. I just think we're being a little bit too critical for a guy that just played his first game, didn't get the warm-up game in Duquesne. And I'm not too worried about the defense. The problem with the defense in the LSU game was the last, 2-3 minutes when we went conservative. Okay? Prevent is good for one play, one last chance. But you don't call prevent defense for an entire 99-yard drive. You have to bring pressure. You have to do what got you there. And I don't know if Fuller got scared. I don't know. But I won't say I've never seen it because I have seen it. But it's not smart. I don't care how many times I see it to go 99-yard prevent defense. That was ridiculous to me. You should have stuck with your 4 down, playing a mix of your man and your zone coverages in that drive. You should have mixed it up like you have been doing all game. So I think the defense is fine. I think they got conservative at the end in a pressure situation. And our corner had one bad play, in my opinion. Granted, I haven't watched like a watch back to see how they did. I thought Ronaldo Green also played well. So, I mean, you hold that wide receiving quarter what we held it to, and you're trying to tell me that the secondary played bad. I mean, I don't know. UCLA played Bowling Green, beat them 45-17. Okay, but it's Bowling Green, so if we beat the brakes off Louisville, I'll say this: if Louisville starts 0-3, I think your boy might get fired. And that recruiting class is definitely not going to last if they start 0-3. We got to get Lloyd and Arbella up to speed. I agree with that. Maybe Bless was playing with the end. He could have been. Absolutely could have been. You're right about that. Could have been the case. Better D-line pressure. I thought the D-line was absolutely incredible against LSU. I mean, that's the reason why we was in the game. They couldn't block anybody. Now, I did watch clips of the D-line more so than I watched the secondary. I mean, Fabian was tossing guys like a grown man. Coop was stuffing them. Verse was all world. I don't know. South Florida, the D-line pressure was absolutely there. I agree with that, Marcus. What's the odds? You won't know. I'll tell you this. Wake, NC State, and Clemson. Those are the key games for us. Those are the key games. Should Sam not do returns and Rodney Hill instead? I don't mind mixing it up, but I think we're just way too critical on Sam, only from the fact that, man, they got to get better on blocking. Versus the beast, but the other ends need to heat up. I think they're fine. Verse is a beast, but I think the other guys are doing their job. And some of those scramble plays that Daniels had in that game, the problem was that both ends were or over running. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But they were breaking their containment, basically, is what they was pinning their ears back and breaking their containment. So then Daniels had and you can see in the second half, they kind of stopped that. So you got to remember, some guys have different jobs. Verse, you're going to use pretty much, you look at what Verse is, he's not a finished product. But they're going to use him as their speed rush type guy, and he's got power too with it. So Verse is, and somebody made a great point, and I forget who made this point. I was listening to somebody. Verse is not as technically sound as Jermaine, but he's a better athlete. I think it's very clear that he's a better athlete. And when his technique catches up with his athleticism, he may very well be a better player than Jermaine Johnson. Can bringing in new uniforms hurt a team focus in and out through a season? No, I'm not worried about that. I think we just found out about this. I don't think the team just found out that they were going to be wearing this. I think they probably knew all along. No, I'm not worried about that. Look, the uniforms don't make you win or lose football games. If the uniforms are breaking the focus of a team, that's a deeper issue that has zero to do with uniforms, more to do with coaching. Nathaniel, I hear you. I used to be pretty much a stick in the mud, but I like the all-white helmets, and I'm excited to see it. Auden Tate is currently the only one in the NFL. And like I said, the other guy ate his way out the league. I would at this point, if he's going to play like this, of course. It's going to be interesting to see. You bring up a good point, Tara, about JT. I know JT himself has said this is his last season, but we got to see what they do, if they can recruit a quarterback or not, and if not, who they try to target in the transfer portal, if anybody, because let's say Jordan Travis continues this trend, the pace he's on, and he has a very good season. Is that going to be enough for NFL teams to really take a flyer on him? I'm not too sure about that. They might look, if I'm Travis and I get, I don't know, a fifth or sixth round grade for your Florida State, up the NIL money and keep Jordan Travis for another year where he's still getting handsomely rewarded, and have him improve his draft stock. It's possible. It's possible. Somebody says, no, they heard Blake was at the LSU FSU game. I don't know where game he was at. Duke was also coming off of injury. Verse would have had 4 sacks. Oh, they held them and all that. Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think there'll be a chance for some more guys. But shout out to Ontario Wilson because stepped up. We pretty solid, but we need D-line. Bro, they were in the backfield all night. Did you watch the LSU? I don't think South Florida watched the LSU game. They were in the backfield all night. All night. Maybe we watch different games. I don't know. Am I wrong? Did I watch? I don't know. Oh, you got held. That's it. Yeah, I know. I have 2 topics. How was Winston Wright? And what do we have planned for Keziah Holmes? Winston Wright said out of his mouth that, and this was after Duquesne, that he was maybe 2 or 3 weeks away. So it wouldn't surprise me if next week, coming off of this bye week, you start hearing some big time Winston Wright buzz. It would not shock me. And I would love to see it. And as far as Keziah Holmes, I've heard a lot of mixed stuff. I think he's not playing this year. I think he has to sit out this year. And I know 247 said he had a immediate eligibility, but I don't think that's the case. But he has been practicing. But so has the D tackle guy that we know have, but they're a little bit different situations. One's a transfer, one was a high school reclass. But I think Keziah has to sit out a year. It's all good, my man. National media takes on. Oh my God, it's been terrible. But we talked about that. We talked about that after the game, and what we knew this was going to be the case, And this is, it is what it is. Who cares at this point? I don't even care anymore. But yeah, it's been absolutely trash from the national media to even, of course. But your rival fans are supposed to say stuff like this, but. Up until Labor Day, what was the takes? Up until that Sunday before Labor Day. Up until the Sunday before Labor Day, what would everybody say? LSU super talented, top 3 D-line in the country, top 3 wide receiver group in the country. They acknowledged that they had a freshman tackle, but he was supposed to be really good, all world. Not the typical freshman. Like, all this stuff was legitimately said. That was the legitimate. And Florida State's, of course, not that good. The only thing that stayed the same is Florida State, according to people, it's still not that good, but LSU beat themselves. Like if we played the perfect football game and only won by a point. Florida State 24, Louisville 17. I don't care what the score is. Just get a win. Several outlets reported Marion Cooper had a bad summer. Keziah Holmes is not playing until next season. Bethune and Deloach just proved to me that they probably are the best. I mean, in 2 games, we'll wait and see, but they're gonna be in that mix for sure. They're gonna be in that mix. I might have to get one too. If we get Hakeem, would you want to flip? Who would you want to flip to join him? Shelton or Jalen? I don't think Shelton's going to leave. So I would get Jalen if I could. What are your thoughts on D-Mac? I think he's solid, not explosive enough as a pass rusher. I would like to see Pat Payton get some more snaps. I think you keep D-Mac in there and you continue to ease Pat Payton in there. D-Mac isn't as explosive at verse. So when you compare the two, yeah, he doesn't look. D-Mac needs to be a little bit more better in his technique as well. He has to get better in his hands, but solid rotation for right now. Not too worried. I told you after the game, Peter. Verse is the real deal. Now, it's still, we got to, he went up against a freshman, but if anybody they put him on, it didn't matter. Whether it was the freshman tackle or they, put him on the other side or a running back. Damn sure a running back couldn't do nothing with him, or a tight end couldn't do nothing with him but hold him. No, Verse is the real deal. Verse is the real deal. Somebody else is saying Blake was at the LSU game. What's up, Chad? Do I think Louisville is really bad? I mean, we're going to find out tonight. I don't know. I said that on Twitter. Like, maybe Louisville just had a bad game, which is possible. They just had a bad game. I mean, it's not like I had a bunch of Louisville hype going into the season, but I didn't expect them to get bum rushed by Syracuse in week 1. So maybe they just had a bad game. We'll see what they do tonight. Shout out to Randy. Briley says the rewatch on Verse is even more impressive than the original. A little fine tuning on run fits and contain, and he'll be one and done. I hope not. And even then, I don't think he'd be. I don't think he's one and done. I don't know if I don't know, but he would kill the combine for sure. Like if he did decide to go one and done, he would absolutely destroy the combine. He probably is going to run that 4.5, low 4.5 range. Might even crack a 4.4. He's super strong. Like he would kill the combine. So it wouldn't shock me. I hope not. I hope we get him for at least one more year. Compare him with Keldrick Falk and some of these other guys, Lamont Green Jr. and some of these other guys we got coming in. But it wouldn't shock me to your point, because again, I think even with his limited technique, he would kill the combine numbers. He would kill it. Oh, Auden Tate got cut by the Falcons, did he? Is he playing for anybody, or is he still a free agent? Travis J ain't played. I ain't worried about it. I mean, look, you know, I understand that we get attached to some of these players, and we want to see them succeed, and I absolutely understand that. But the results are the results, and we're not seeing number 7 on the field, and we're not seeing Travis J on the field, and we're winning football games. I think the results are the results, and they're not playing for a reason. Shaheem Brown is playing for a reason, and Travis J is not playing for a reason. Sam McCall is returning kicks for a reason, and Travis J is not returning kicks for a reason. Like, I mean, I know we like to, talk about guys that we've watched and we hope we're going to be great players, but the proof is, as they say, in the pudding, and the results are all that matters. And when the results are positive, I have no issue. It's never anything personal, but I have zero issue with these guys not playing. Now, I do think Travis J was dealing with an injury again, because he didn't play against Duquesne either, and they could have used him at least to get him some playing time against Duquesne, but he didn't play against Duquesne either. He wasn't listed for injury reasons, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's his issue, and not so much that he isn't playing well, but I got no worries, man. I agree with that, Briley. UCF is a bad opponent for them after having a terrible game. I agree with that. That LSU line is as good as any O-line left on the schedule. Are they? You think they're better than a Boston College O-line? I think they're probably, I don't know if they're better, but they're probably on par with Clemson's. Clemson's O-line continue to be terrible. Clemson's O-line continue. I feel pretty confident about that Clemson game, just from O-line versus D-line standpoint. Clemson's O-line continues to be terrible. Versus will have a field day against, I don't care what quarterbacks out there. Have you anything about 4-star Chambry Jackson? Nope. I think this is a guy that they tried to move into defensive tackle from DN, and I don't know how he's from what he's listed. He hasn't been able to put on any D tackle weight, so I don't know if they're maybe moving him back to DN. I don't know what the case is there for Chambry, but no, haven't heard anything. They already have versus top 15 projected. I hope not. I'm excited to see more from Byron. I'm excited to see Byron, Aaron Hester. Like, we got some guys, man, that are going to be coming. Dante Anderson. Alden signed with the Eagles. Okay. Sam McCall was a true freshman on a huge stage, returning kicks. Y'all got to relax. From high school to LSU national. Yeah, that's what I said. Just relax. Sam will be all right. Clemson is bad. I don't want to say Clemson's bad, but they still have obvious flaws. And that's still quarterback. And I don't know if putting in a freshman fixes it, because he's still a freshman, regardless of how talented he may be. He's still a freshman. They're still bad at quarterback, and I think they're still bad on the O-line. The defense is still flying to the football, so we'll see there. BC's O-line is garbage. Everyone is new. Okay. See, I didn't know that. That's why I just threw a name out, because BC historically has pretty good offensive lines. So you're probably right there. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I watched BC. Didn't watch him. Verse, don't think so. He schooled that true freshman tackle. Yeah, Cam's got to catch that pass. And people have talked about it on other shows and podcasts. That pass Jordan Travis threw to Cam was the most NFL pass he's probably ever thrown. And Cam's got to catch that. Cam has to catch that. That pass was incredible. Jordan Travis threw some dimes against LSU that I have never seen him throw before. Obviously, the pass to Ontario Wilson. He threw a couple passes to Ontario. One where Ontario caught it but came down out of bounds. That was another dime. He just threw some passes, man. And that pass to Cam McDonald was about as perfect as you could throw it. He put it right in a window, right over the defender, right there. Cam, man, if you're gonna be an NFL tight end, you have to catch that ball. You have to catch that ball. Even if Louisville loses tonight, we'll be playing. I agree, but if they lose tonight, yes, they will be very desperate come the following week. But also, we've seen it from our end. Desperation is prone to more mistakes because you're so desperate to make a play. You don't play the right way. We've been like that for the last few years. So desperate to make plays that we make boneheaded mistakes in the process. That could be the case for Louisville come next Friday. Dabo had an all offseason to fix that O-line, but he doesn't believe in the portal. They say the Clemson receiver room is not improved. Well, you can't tell because the quarterback sucks. So you wouldn't be able to know if they're improved or not. I listened to an interview of BC. They have no returning production on the O-line. They are food. Okay, y'all are correcting me on the BC thing. I only said BC because they historically have good offensive lines, but you guys are absolutely right. BC probably sucks on the O-line. Got it. You guys correcting me on that. I'm trying to think of other good O-lines. I mean, maybe Miami's line. Florida's line didn't look Florida's O-line didn't look terrible against Utah. I don't know how good Utah's defensive front is, but Trey Benson couldn't get going last game. Was it because of it's a little bit of LSU's defense, and it's just a little bit of the fact that Trey Benson's still learning how to run the ball. And I said this after Duquesne. See, against Duquesne, he was just bigger, faster, stronger. So it didn't matter. He was just running through people, running them over. But Benson did the same thing against Duquesne that I criticized him for. He's not confident yet. He's too hesitant, as what they call tiptoeing. He tiptoes to the hole. And instead of being patient and hitting the hole, he tiptoes and he doesn't get anywhere. And that's how he ran against LSU. And quite frankly, he ran the same way against Duquesne. The only difference against Duquesne, they didn't have the athletes to match up with a Trey Benson. So he just was a man amongst boys. Against LSU, obviously that wasn't the case. So Benson, though he's big, physical, and talented and all that stuff, he has to learn how to run the football. And it's, again, not even a knock. The guy didn't play football last year because of a knee injury. So this is like his first time playing college football. He'll be fine. Just be patient with him. We let a lot of that preseason hype train get us to a point where, Trey Benson was supposed to be the next Dalvin Cook or whoever. And the truth is, like I told you all along, Trayshawn Ward's the best back on this team. Quite frankly, he's the best back on this team I don't want to say by a mile, because I think LT's not that far behind him. I think LT's not that far, but Trey Benson is Trayshawn Ward is the best back on this team. I would say LT second, and I think Benson is the third guy, but might have the higher ceiling, obviously, of everybody else because of he looks like an NFL back from his size. But he's still got to learn the position. So don't be worried about Benson. He'll be okay. Polk, what are your thoughts on Chambry? I know the plan was to move him to inside, but now we have a nice inside depth. Could you see him playing the Briggs, big DM role? They are the same size. We'll see what they do with them. Even that DM room's becoming crowded. See, that's the thing. Like, when you don't hit, sometimes you get passed over. And I know Chambry was, who he was coming out of high school. But like you said, we got depth on the D tackle. Outside of the two guys that we're going to lose, you still got Jackson. You still got Ray. You still got Bishop. And you got Lyons. And then you got that guy, I always mess up his name, but the kid that we got late in the cycle, right? That's not even counting the guys you're going to bring in next year. That's not even counting, you might look to the portal. I'm not against looking to the portal. Your D tackle room's looking pretty good, all things considered. But there's really no difference on the DN. Yes, you're going to lose Briggs this year. There's a chance you lose Verse. I don't want to speak that into existence, but I get that there's a chance. But Patrick Payton, Byron Turner, again, Dante Anderson. You're going to bring in a Keldrick Falk, a Lamont Green Jr. I mean, your depth on the D line is going to be to the point where Chambry just might be the odd man out at the end of all of this. Don't get it twisted. The home opener Friday night game, Louisville game, will be tough. He is a mobile quarterback, absolutely. On the replay, the faded Pittman in the end zone. Did you see the block right tackle? The back right tackle corner of end zone looked like 87 was wide open. I didn't look. I didn't watch that back. Nope. But even if so, again, I've talked about it, and Florida State fans have spent a whole week arguing good or bad calls, and I really haven't. I mean, I gave my thoughts after the show, and I kind of haven't reiterated because I just feel like it's stupid to continue to reiterate. But I will talk about it since Premier Youth brought it up, and I'll just get my point out here, and then we can move on because I don't want to argue about whether the calls were good or not. Here's the point. Speaking specifically of this call, had zero issue with it. I know people want to criticize this call and the other call that I'll get to in a minute. You can only issue you can make with this call is that you could have threw it to one of your bigger receivers, and that's fair. Whatever. At the end of the day, I believe the risk, and this was the end of the first half. You still had 2 quarters of football to play. In my opinion, and you were getting the ball at halftime. I believe the risk outweighed the risk was worth the reward in this case. If you go up 14-3 and are getting the ball at halftime, who knows how that game plays out? And again, a dime was thrown. Pittman's got to catch the ball if he wants to be that guy, right? Now, let's move on to the second play. End of the game, toss play on the 2-yard line. The people that say Trayshawn Ward has to catch the ball, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Catch the pitch. We're not having this discussion. Here's my issue with the call. The risk isn't worth the reward here. Just like I said, the risk was worth the reward in the first call. The risk is not worth the reward here. The risk is not worth the reward, in my opinion, here. There's too much that can go wrong in the last in the last 2 minutes or whatever it was of a game where that team is playing desperate now. You don't, in my opinion, you just don't pitch the ball. Now, somebody said, well, they called a pitch play earlier and it worked. Yeah, but was it on the 2-yard line in that type of situation? No, it wasn't. You just don't put your team in that position. That is my opinion. We are free to disagree. I'm not going to argue with y'all about it was a good or a bad call. There's a lot of people who played the game, coached the game at a high level, some former Hall of Famers that also said, I would not have called a pitch play in that position just for the simple fact a field goal ices the game. Make them use their timeouts, ice the game. What is the likelihood? Put it like this. There's a better probability of you driving 99 yards, which they did, especially if you're going to call prevent defense. There's a better probability of you driving 99 yards and getting a touchdown than there is of us getting a field goal. Now you have to drive, score a touchdown, get an onside kick, and then get back in field goal position. Which one outweighs the other? I think that's an easy call to make. I don't risk a turnover. Anytime I don't throw the ball in that situation, and I don't do anything where the ball has to travel through the air through any extended period of time because of that reason. You guys can have your opinion on it. You can like the call. I don't like the call, period. Yes, Ward should have called it, but as always, you don't put players in positions to even have that mistake, in my opinion. Now, if you fumble a conventional handoff, then that is what it is. But here we are. So that's my take on those 2 calls. Is Satterfield a dead man walking? I don't know, man. He go 0-3, he might be. Only thing saving him right now probably is the way he's recruiting right now. Oh, I didn't even hear your original statement about their O-line. I was just saying I was getting ice cream. If Tate Rodemaker transferred, will that be concerning? No. No. First of all, who's going to take him as a transfer? That's the first major question. What coach is looking at Tate Rodemaker and going, oh, yeah, I want him to transfer to me? That's number one. And number two, I think they're gonna have to address the portal heavy at quarterback this offseason anyway. Yeah, that kid. Talk about the D tackle. Farmer, I forgot all about Farmer, man. Farmer's gonna be a good one too. Verse is a redshirt sophomore, so he's eligible. I like him, Perry. I'm ready to see him. I do agree he called a great game. He called the best game of his time here, in my opinion. I thought offensively and defensively, Adam Fuller called a great game up until that prevent crap that he decided to do. You know, but I think 95% of that game was called very well. What up, Irv? I agree. The call was fine, just the wrong wide receiver. Agreed there, Gio. Called 75 great plays. One bad one. I don't even know if he called two questionable, in my opinion, but that's just me. I like the Norvell game plan to control the clock, work your way downfield with the Travis controlling the offense and wearing down the defense. We could be dominant all season. I think that has a lot to do, and it's not taking anything away from Mike, but I think him and Atkins have a lot better chemistry than him and Dillingham had. Now, I agree. Catch the ball. But again, don't put your player in that position where he can drop the ball, right? Should have did like they did against Miami. QB sneak until we get in. Or you don't even have to score. That's my thing in that situation, Jimmy. Again, a field goal ices that game. Now, I know we're not all big on Ryan Fitzgerald. He's another kick away from being spoiled rat meat. But with that said, I have 90% confidence that he hits a chip shot from the 2-yard line. Just kneel that thing, make them burn timeouts, and then kick a field goal. Oh, I'm moving on. Like I said, I'm not here to argue it. I just wanted to get my point out there because everybody else has been able to get their points out there. You got to discount the reward with the fact that Norvell had no faith in Fitz. Yeah, but it's from the two. Like, Briley and y'all, we're going to spend a little bit more time on it, but that's fine because this is what you guys want to talk about. They had already let Fitz hit a longer field goal after he missed the first one. Like, you can't say they had no faith in Fitz when they put Ryan. I mean, the score was 24-23. So they put Ryan Fitzgerald out there to kick a field goal after missing the first field goal. What was that, like a 30-some yarder that he made? Like, it was on the 2. And you had already previously put him out there before that to kick a field goal. So the risk that they didn't have faith in him, I don't believe that. Because if that was the case, you don't ever send him out there after missing the first one to kick another field goal. If you Norvell, how many QBs? Well, you got to take one for sure. I don't know if you can take more than one. Because again, quarterbacks that are in the portal, they're not looking to, I'm not going to say they're not looking to compete, but they're looking to go to optimal situations where they can compete and start, right? Quarterbacks in the portal aren't looking to go sit for 2 years. That's why they're in the transfer portal, most likely. That's why it's imperative that they find something in this recruiting class. I don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure they're working and trying to figure some things out, but it's imperative that they find something in this recruiting class and then add someone in the portal as well. Tell them again, VJ, smash that like. Whatever it takes to get JT and Verse to stay another year. Apparently, Fist is still missing a hell of a lot of. Well, I get that. Again, but it's from the 2. It's from the 2. Could we go undefeated by the time we play Miami? I think it's very possible that we're 5-0 by the time we hit NC State. Very possible. What up, Chris? Orlando on the check-in. Okay, that's fine. But again, it's still from the 2. So you're right. That field goal before was not the field goal to ice the game. So that adds an added bit of pressure to Fitz. But damn it, man, it's from the 2. I can't kick, and I would like my chances. I would like my chances to kick a 2-yard field goal. That's just me, though. That's just me. Yeah, well, that comes with our defensive ends being a little bit more disciplined. And we're gonna face the next quarterback's another running quarterback. So we'll see. Yeah. I know Emory's kind of the guy everybody's like, thinking about. I don't know what they're doing, but they got to figure something out. What's good, Judge Uno? Fitz needs to change his jersey number. He is kicking like a tight end. Fitz needs to do something. So, yeah, man, I think. But ultimately, man, that LSU game was huge for Mike. It was huge for the program. I think we all can agree with that. And then we talked about some of the news today, which was a plus. Again, Rod may be decommitting, but we'll see. We'll see how that one plays out. But we might have a chance to add some pretty good 2 guys this month. And again, DJ Chester has scheduled 2 visits to Florida State, which I'm excited for because that's another O-lineman that I've been high on this entire time. I don't know, man. What else we got? That hour went by kind of quick. We're usually on here longer than an hour. My bad. I was texting. Y'all noticed that FSU, Florida, Miami might have good seasons this year. I don't even want to be a hater. I partly agree with that for a couple reasons. One, because Miami's schedule is so trash. But I got to be honest with you. And this isn't, I'm really not trying to be a hater. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I know they're going to take it as hate. That Miami defense isn't good, y'all. That Miami defense isn't good. I don't care what how they try to spin it and what they try to say. Miami better fix some defensive problems. They do not have good backer play at all. Their backers are absolutely horrendous. I don't think their D-line gets any real penetration. And the secondary is I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That Miami defense isn't good, y'all. And again, I know they're gonna probably come at me and say that it's not good. And if they watch that Boston College game and take the orange and green tinted glasses off, and if that was any other team other than Miami playing BC and playing like that defensively, they would be talking all kind of crap. That Miami defense is not good. Oh yeah, I forgot. Bethune is straight speed. That defense isn't good. Now, offensively, I think that's where they're gonna make their money. Again, we're gonna have to see them play against a better team. But they got TVD, who's obviously a good quarterback. I'm not gonna take anything away from that. I'm just going to be interested to see Miami play against some better teams because I'm not really sold on the Miami thing. And then watching that defense just makes me not sold on them that much more. But I know they have a good quarterback. In my opinion, in college football, if you got a good quarterback, you always have a chance to win the football game. And when we start talking about Florida played well against Utah. Now, Utah was able to do some things against Florida that I thought was interesting. They were able to line up and just run it down Florida's throat. But I actually thought Florida's defense looks very athletic, especially the front 7. That front 7 of Florida's defense looks about as good as ours, in my opinion. I don't know if their back half is that good. I know they got big names back there because they've recruited well back there, but I don't know if it's that good. And an AR-15, man, anytime he's on the field, he's probably the best athlete on the field, if we're just being honest. I still don't know how he is as a quarterback, but I can't lie. When that kid's on the field, he's the best athlete on the field, period. And if he continues to improve as a passer, Florida's going to be tough. Florida's going to be tough. Tougher than I originally thought. Florida's going to be tough. Frank Gore Jr. getting 100 yards rushing. I think, ain't he playing quarterback? I think he's playing quarterback. I think they probably play like some Wildcat or something with that. That's why I say we have a great chance of beating Miami. We're going to murder Miami. Anxious. And the crazy thing about it is I actually think they have a good shot of beating A&M. But if that defense is as bad as I suspect it to be, Jimbo's going to exploit it. And they won't beat A&M. They won't beat A&M. But what A&M's going to tell the story on that team. Because even if they lose to A&M, that team's going to have a good year record-wise. Miami's going to have a good year record-wise because they don't play nobody. Their toughest games are Texas A&M, Florida State, Clemson. That's it. That's their entire schedule. They don't play nothing else. North Carolina looks absolutely god-awful. They just played Bethune. They play Southern Miss this week. I think Middle Tennessee's on this schedule as well. They play nobody this year. So even if they lose to all the good teams they play, they finish still 9-3. They still finish 9-3. So Miami's going to, record-wise, is going to reflect that they had a good team. Just from watching it, I think they have a good offense. That defense has a lot of holes in it. What do you think of the NC State offense and defense? Got to watch another game. That offense did not look good against ECU. The defense looked good, but then it's hard to say, oh, it looked too good against ECU talent level. Like, NC State's got to show me something going forward. But I wasn't that hype on them guys either coming into the season. Florida has me. Yeah, I think if after one game, I think obviously Florida would have you more worried than Miami. Thank you for being. I'm always honest, BB. I'm always honest. We still gonna slap that ass, but I'm always honest. The weight they did get their quarterback back. We'll see how that helps. Has Jimbo ever lost to Miami? Yeah, the last year he was here, he lost to him. That play where Tavares McFadden got mossed in the end zone. That one. Miami versus Pitt should be a decent match. That's probably the other tough. Yeah, I forgot about them. Pitt's probably the other tough team they play. Pitt has a good defensive line. Pitt has a good D line. Pitt's the other tough team they play. So at worst, they can go 8-4. Because I don't see them losing to anybody else on that schedule. The biggest flaw Clemson has is Dabo calling the plays. A big problem for Norvell, he doesn't trust his kicker. That's a great point, and I think it's got to be addressed because if this season goes how I think some of us tend to think it will go, Florida State is going to be in some close games, guys. If we don't fix this, if we don't figure something out at kicker, like didn't we sign a 5-star kicker? I know it's a joke, but didn't we got him as a walk-on, but wasn't he like a pretty good high school kicker that we got? In all seriousness, like we got to figure something out because if we don't figure out that kicker situation, that's going to lose us some games, and it might lose us a game that we shouldn't lose. I hate to, I don't hate to say it. Let's just be honest. If we don't fix our field goal kicking situation, it could cost us a game or two. And the team that should finish with at least, we'll just go with, I said 9-3, but let's just go 8. The team that should finish 8-4 could finish 7-5 because of a field goal situation where we just can't figure out the field goal situation here. Or a team that should win 9 games Maybe we finish 7 games because the kicker loses us 2 games. You know what I mean? We got to figure out the field goal. We got to figure out our field goal situation, because if we're going to be playing these close games, which I do think majority of Florida State's game this year will be close, which is fine. I don't care if we win by 30 or 3, just win the game. But if it comes down to that, we got to fix that. We got to fix our kicking situation. Polk, did you hear about Jimbo saying that he'd leave A&M to go coach West Virginia? He told reporters that he wouldn't count it out of a possibility. That man would be a whole idiot. But good luck to him. He ain't leaving A&M, and I don't believe that for a second. He'll leave A&M when he's washed as a coach. You know how coaches, even the great ones, go through that phase at the end of their career where they're just washed. They ain't got it no more. Then he'll go to A&M. Then he'll go to West Virginia. I will be at the Georgia Tech game, and they have Sims at QB, so it should be interesting. It should be a win. But Sims can run it. I trust the toss to our running backs over a kick by Fitzgerald. Miami will lose the week before our game at Virginia. Is Virginia supposed to be good? That'd be interesting. If they lose to Virginia, oh, man. A&M would have to fire Jimbo. Yeah, for real, FSU was supposed to be kicker. Don't forget ECU lost their starting QB early. I got y'all winning 8-4. If Norvell doesn't trust the kicker, why didn't he grab a kicker in the portal? Well, they did. They brought a kicker in the offseason, but he's a true freshman. Maybe, Plus, you're not going to wait. In my opinion, bro, you're not going to waste a scholarship on a portal kicker. I'm just being honest with you. Fix what you got. You got other things that you want to address and count towards your scholarship, like wide receiver, D lineman, O lineman, a running back, all these other things that are more important to the game. And I'm not saying kickers aren't important, but that are more important to the game than waste a scholarship on a kicker. And then you say you would have preferred that over Greedy Vance. You still need the DB depth. You feel me? So, I don't know. The most facts being spoken right now. And plus, it was twice we kicked out of bounds. Those kicks out of bounds could have had a bigger impact on that game than people realize. How do you do that back to back? Can't keep a kickoff in bounds. Like, we have to fix that, because you're starting teams off with great field. Like, we have to fix those things. And believe it or not, FSU special teams are actually graded fairly high now, not counting the kicking. I think. Why would Jimbo leave? Look at his recruiting class. I don't think Jimbo will go anywhere. Again, not until he's washed up and ain't got it no more. Somebody said like Mac Brown, right? Like how Matt Brown came back to North Carolina at the end. He's washed. He's from West Virginia. He said, overall, I love A&M, but home is home. Okay. He loves winning too. Probably loves his paycheck even more. Like you said, the games might have come to kicker. A spot might have been worth it. I hear you. I agree. I just think most coaches building a program would not invest 2 scholarships in a kicker. Well, 3 if you count the punter too, right? So I don't know. You got to use those scholarships wisely, and that's probably why they didn't look for a kicker in the portal. Things more important than a kicker, but definitely something. Yeah, I agree. No, definitely something to address. So I'm with you there. Who's the better O-lineman, Chester or Kearney? I think Kearney's rated higher, but I don't know off the top of my head. And plus, I think they play different positions. Kearney's an inside guy. He's a guard. Chester's a tackle who can play inside, obviously, if you probably needed him to. I don't know who's rated higher, but I can look it up. Matter of fact, let's do it. Let's look it up right now. I'm just going to do it on my phone right now. I think Kearney's rated higher just off the top of my head, though. Offensive. I'll start at offensive tackle. And DJ Chester. DJ Chester is rated, according to the 247 composite, he's actually rated right behind Lucas Simmons as the 14th best offensive tackle in the country, which I still don't see how Lucas Simmons is the 14th best offensive tackle in the country, but whatever. And he's rated nationally 118. And I think Kearney's rated higher than 118. Let's go to guard. Let's go to inside. Inside O-line. Where is he? There he is. Kearney's rated the 4th best inside. He's actually, so Kearney's rated lower than Chester, actually. But he's the 4th best player inside. But Kearney's rated 121. So, I mean, they're the same. One guy's 118, one guy's 121, bro. They're the same caliber of player. They're the same caliber of player. Same caliber of player. What happened to the breakdown recruits? I get busy, but yeah, I gotta pick that one back up. I'm not done. I'm gonna pick it back up. I get busy though, especially during the week. I was super happy that we have cleaned up the dumb penalty. I thought we played for most part a clean game. We still have some mistakes, but I agree with that. Clemson gave Dabo money. Good for them. Nobody really, bro. Nobody wants Dabo Swinney. I've been telling people that for years. Dabo's coordinators have made him look great. And you're going to see. You're going to see. I heard down the grapevine that they were going to eventually do away with scholarships. Do away with scholarships. That's news to me. How do you get kids to come play if you're not going to give them scholarships? I was calling for a punt when Fitz came short on the field goal. What up, Smith? And what do you think about the new outfit? Again, I like it. My dream is to say one day, and again, I know that's going to be an away uniform. Traditionally, the all whites are always away. But I would love to see a whiteout in Doak Campbell one day. Break tradition and do all white. I think that'd be a hell of a sight to see. Did he really? Yeah, I don't know. Like getting away with scholarships. I don't know, Nathan. You might want to. Do you mean they were getting away with like scholarship numbers? Which is true that they got rid of I believe the scholarship limit, which doesn't really make that big a deal because the football team can only have a certain amount of players anyway. So they got rid of, there used to be a cap limit on recruiting classes that you can only sign X amount of players, right? And they got rid of that, which doesn't really matter because I don't know off the top of my head, but let's just say there's only 60 roster slots on a college football team anyway. So you can't exceed that number anyway. So therefore, it's like, and I don't know if the 60 is the exact number. I just threw a number out there. Agreed, Polk. I think Clemson will take a step back without Venables, Tony Elliott, and B. Scott. Can we do that whiteout for the Florida game later this year at the end of the season? They could have that. I'm pretty sure they could if they wanted to. They could if they wanted to. We did an all-white game versus USF some years ago back. Ponder was a QB. Yeah, but we ain't had the helmets then. It's a whole different beast when you got the helmets. Something like that and how it will hurt Florida State. I don't think it doesn't hurt anybody, in my opinion. Jeff Scott, got you. True, without Venables and crew, they drop off. In your opinion, should we be ranked? Nah, no need to rush the ranking. We only beat one team that was unranked. Excuse me, well, we beat two teams. One team not a FBS school, the other team an unranked team. That I know people talk about us, but you check the last 2 years of LSU. They haven't exactly been having a bunch of winning seasons. They've won 11 games the last 2 years. What, that's 3 more than Mike won the last 2 years? Mike won 8. Not a big difference there. LSU not really in a good state right now, right? It was the media telling y'all. I mean, we told you, me and other people, but we told y'all LSU was beatable. All this talk about LSU and what they had, LSU was beatable. 11 games in 2 years isn't like and that's not an accident. There's a reason they were that. They were beatable. They had a lot of problems. They had a lot of moving parts. And then, yeah, you can bring in Brian Kelly all you want, but you still got to fix it, right? So, no, we shouldn't be ranked. Now, you go out there, you handle business against Louisville, which, again, even then, that might be an 0-2 Louisville team. So, do you really get ranked off of beating an 0-2 Louisville team? I'm not sure. But all I know is you just keep winning, and the ranking will take care of itself. So, I don't personally care about the ranking. Keep winning football games, and all that stuff will come. Appreciate you, Nicholas. Thank you for joining with our Friday midday show. Every time we go to non-traditional, I hear you, Marcus, but we're gonna win. Relax, don't do that. I hear you though. I hear you. I was at the Whiteout game in 2009. We lost to USF. Oh my god. We'd be ranked if we right. I'm saying we win enough games, bro. We'll be ranked. No need to rush it. I said the whole time we can beat LSU. Right. A lot of the fans felt that way. A lot of podcasters felt that way. I'm saying it was the national media telling y'all LSU is just this. So, and of course they have talent. Hell, when Florida State was losing all those games, we had talent. When Jimbo first left, the next year, we still had Brian Burns on the roster and Cam Akers and I think On Tate left, but we still had Cam Akers and Kalen LeBourne and Brian Burns and Asante Samuel Jr. and Tamari. Like, come on, we were talented and we still found ways to lose games. LSU is going through that same phase right now. Only difference is they may have made the right hire. But my thing about Brian Kelly, and I said this about Brian Kelly when they hired him, I don't know if he's going to work out at LSU or not, but I never thought he was a fit there, mainly because he's a phony. He's fake. And the one thing that's working in Brian Kelly's favor is that kids don't leave Louisiana down there. They don't leave Louisiana. This isn't Florida. The Louisiana kids don't leave the state. They very rarely leave the state. And it will be telling going forward if he starts to lose Louisiana kids, Brian Kelly will not last. Because no matter who the coach is there or how bad the coach is or how bad the team tends to play, the kids don't leave that state. If he starts losing top-tier kids out of state to Bama or Texas, or maybe we can grab a couple of them. If he starts losing kids out of state, they will get him up out of there because kids don't leave that state. I know Brian Kelly's getting nice money from LSU, but how much do you think he's starting to dislike playing FSU? He's got to play us again next year. For 4 straight years, we're going to get some Brian Kelly action. We got him in Orlando next year. You're right, VJ. We have played him 3 times in a row. We play him next year in Orlando. We shut down what they had, Butte or Booty, however you say his name, and Neighbors. I heard Knowles ain't been doing well versus Duquesne and LSU in that nickel position. If we beat Wake, NC State, Clemson, we should be ranked. If we beat, I'll tell you this right now, Randy. If you beat Wake, NC State, and Clemson, you're making the ACC championship. No. Think about that. Wait, if you beat Wake, NC State, and Clemson, you will make the ACC championship. That's your competition, and if you beat those 3, there's no way you don't make the ACC championship. Louisiana doesn't want to let go of Dustin Hill, and they love them Boondocks. So we did an hour 30, and I know everybody's got the rest of their day to go. So we're going to cut it short here because I got some things I got to take care of. These winning predictions will come true if we keep Jordan Travis healthy. But I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me in the middle of the day on a Friday. I don't usually do streams this early, but I just felt like I needed to do one and I was bored. So here I am and kicking it with y'all. And we had a good turnout. We had up to 60 some odd people in here. So that's a pretty good turnout on a unannounced stream in the midday where we don't usually do it at this time. We usually do it a little later on in the evening. So appreciate y'all for kicking it with me. And I probably won't do anything this weekend because I'm going to be in Austin acting a fool with the fellas. But we'll see how this weekend turns out, and who knows, maybe we'll do some another impromptu video. But hey, man, as always, hit the like button on your way out if you didn't hit on the way in. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and stay classy, Seminoles. It's your boy Polk over here on 863 Seminole TV, and we got you. Go Noles.